Hey guys, so I've been using the Mechanic HX-T100 solder wire in quite a few projects on the channel. I'm quite happy with it, so I thought why not do a little video review. Let's take a close look. I've got here a brand new one with 0.4 millimeters. They are available in different sizes from 0.2 all the way up to 1.2 millimeter. We can see on the label this is a leaded solder with tin lead combination, 63% tin and 37% lead. There is flux. I'm not quite sure why it's saying between 1 and 3%. Either that means there is a huge variety in the process, or it might also mean that it depends on the size of the wire that you're buying. It is well known that the smaller dimensions have less flux inside. And then we also have two specifications for CI flux. I actually reached out to Mechanic to find out what that means, and it refers to the halogen content. And we have a value for expansion of 75%. Again, I reached out, asked what the heck does that mean, and they gave me a very generic answer to do with, well, this is the percentage of the material change when it's going from solid to liquid, back, and so on. The melting point is 183 degrees Celsius. My soldering station, I usually set it to 330 to 350 to have good results with my projects. Now these solder wires, they come out of China. You can buy them on AliExpress, and with everything coming out of China, there's a big chance of getting a counterfeit product. So at the back of the spool in the white plastic, they've sort of put in a logo where you need some light to reflect to really see it clearly. So that's their way of making sure you're getting something authentic. But the best way is really to just buy it from the official AliExpress store. Of course, as always, I will put a link down below in the video description. The soldering today is very straightforward. I'm trying to have some sort of a process I can repeat with different solder wires down the track. So we're just gonna solder on a simple header. I bought a PCB, and to put it in place, I'm just using some good old blue tack. That is a tip I got from one of my Patreons. Really handy, very useful for ICs, sockets, and any larger component. I've got some footage here, having some issues with the focus and also shaky hands. But the idea is to show you the flux that's inside the solder wire, the flux core. And when you start soldering, it gets released and deals with oxidation. So this is why soldering actually works, because of the integrated flux. And here we go. Let's do the first joint. I set the temperature, I think initially to 320, and it's taking a little bit longer than I'm used to heat up. So later in the video, I'm adjusting it to 330, which works pretty well. And yeah, simple process. Just put the tip of the solder iron on the edge of the joint, so heating up the pad and the pin at the same time, and then you feed the solder wire from the other side. Here we have some more footage. I'm placing the tip on one side, heating up the pad and the part at the same time, and then feeding the solder wire from the other side. I'm still working on my timing. I like to heat it up for 2 or 3 seconds, then feed the wire, and then remove the wire, the solder wire first, and then the tip. I'm not an expert with soldering, and I've only tried a few other brands which were pretty rubbish. This one, yeah, I'm really happy with it. I don't have any high-end comparison like Kester or any of the expensive solder wires, so I don't really know what I'm missing out. But all I can tell you is that the solder joints, they look good, it's flowing nicely, and really I don't have any complaints. And as always, this is where the community together, well, we're figuring things out, we're sharing knowledge and experiences. And if you have something interesting to share about what solder wire you using and what do you recommend, yeah, I'd love to hear from you. I've been told that how shiny the joint is an indicator for quality. These ones look a little bit dull, so I don't know how much of a factor that is. And now let's do some close-up inspections. So we can definitely see it's not super shiny like I've seen in some other photos or YouTube videos. So maybe that's a differentiator with some more expensive solder wires. But all in all, these joints are rock solid. There's nothing wrong with them. Maybe some have a little bit more solder than the others. That comes down to technique. I still have to sort of dial in how fast and how much solder wire you are feeding. That's just skill. It will improve with time. So let's do a little bit more soldering. We are doing the other side of the header, and here I'm trying to add a little bit more solder than before. Personally, this is just my opinion. I rather have a little bit too much than not enough. But all in all, I've been very happy with the solder wire. As I said, I've been using it in a few projects with great success. Here I'm doing some cleaning with the Mechanic PCB cleaner and this little sponge, cubes and a tweezer. Yeah, it's a good process after soldering just to get rid of some of the excess flux. And here, time for the final inspection. Everything looks fine to my eyes. If you spot anything off, I'm interested to hear your opinion. Some of them have like little dimples. I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe just the consistency of the quality of the solder wire or something else going on. And one of the adjacent holes I seem to have filled with solder. Yeah, maybe just my mistake, but all in all, I think this looks lovely, and yeah, happy to have this video out on YouTube. It's not one of those where I'm a little bit embarrassed. I think these joints are all pretty solid. So guys, yeah, there you have it. That is my take on the solder wire from Mechanic, the HX-T100, which is leaded solder, which makes it a lot easier for us beginners. And it is a product I can recommend. I've been using it on the channel for a few projects, and I will continue using one until something else comes along that people highly recommend. That's good value, and I like that you can buy these from AliExpress for a fair price. I always like to save a little bit and get something that's of good value. And now I'd love to hear from you. What equipment do you use for soldering? Do you have any tips, any tricks? What solder wire do you use? Have you got experience with the Mechanic, and what is your take on it? And that's it for this one. If you've got any video suggestions or improvements, as always, just leave them down below. No problem. That's how we grow together as a community. So thank you so much for watching and leaving comments and all that good stuff. And I shall see you soon with another one.